All right, this week's video is brought to you by our friends at Zander Insurance. COVID-19, you're hearing it everywhere, aren't you? Quarantine, all of it. Like, it's just like these words are just constantly in our vocabulary. Now, when all of this started, we put out an event called Message of Hope, and we wanted to spread the idea of Message of Hope. Great event name, right? Because everyone was freaking out, and it was like a very uncertain time. No one really knew what to do with their money, how their jobs were gonna be, how everything was gonna pan out. But now that we're a few months kind of out of that initial just shock, we're still in the middle of, some states are still under quarantine. There's still, things going on around COVID-19, of course. But people are asking now, okay, what do I do now? And I really believe that pain doesn't have to be your only teacher. It's a great teacher. It's a thorough teacher, but it doesn't have to be your only teacher. But for a lot of people during this season, during this time in our lives, it was very painful. It was very scary. They didn't know what to do. And so hopefully you guys are learning through watching these videos, really digging in and understanding how your money works. So one of the best ways to combat anything is to have control over your money as much as you can, and that is a budget. And it's interesting because when it comes to budgeting, there are spenders and savers. There are free spirits, there are nerds. But I personally, I'm a spender and I love to spend money. And I found though, during quarantine, people still fell in those two buckets of spenders and savers. And so when quarantine really first started happening, people paused, most people for about 30 days. And then the savers continued to save. Everything from not going out to eat, not driving as much, vacations getting canceled, so much money. People were saving, and they found themselves saving out of the fear of the unknown, and they just kind of kept, in a sense, hoarding money and like, hey, we're gonna keep everything because we don't know what's gonna happen. Or some people were saving out of just, or not spending out of necessity. Maybe you lost your job, maybe you're furloughed and you didn't have that amount of money just to go and spend, but you were really keeping it close and saving. And then I found people in the other category where, for again, that first 30 days, most everyone kind of held and saved, but some spenders came out of the woodworks. Yes, including myself, I'll say that. I was like, why is every store that I love having a sale right now? Like, that's what quarantine felt like. Every time I checked my email, it was like, sale, 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 sale. And I was like, what? I got to the point, it's so bad, but it's true. I just started filling up my shopping cart online and just adding item. And then I'd delete it, and then I'd go about my day. I wouldn't buy anything, but I'd go through the process of looking through stuff. And I was like, what? And good to know, because I was not alone. Yes, in fact, 58 million Americans said that they actually spent more in quarantine. 43% said that they spent money out of comfort buying or because of stress. And I was like, yeah, I get you. Like, I totally get that. Because when you spend money, dopamine is released in your brain and everything feels good. It kind of numbs you out to what's going on. And in the moment you get that high, you get that rush, and you're like, wow, that feels good. But listen, that's not the way to live your life. No. Neither is just sitting there and hoarding money, but really being diligent with where your money's going. And that always is gonna bring us back to the budget, you guys. Always, always. And the zero-based budget, it's the way to go. So we talk about your income minus all of your expenses needs to equal zero. So every dollar coming in is assigned to a category. And your categories are everything you spend money on. So again, this is food, shelter, utilities, transportation, cell phone, insurance. You could even have clothing. Maybe every person in the family needs their own line item, especially you parents. Say, hey, there's a Rachel line item and a Winston line item in our budget that we have money to spend. One of the lines that I am okay spending money on that actually gives me great reassurance is life insurance. And Winston and I, we use Zander Insurance for our life insurance because they make it so easy. Okay, you know how some companies, they're like, hey, go on our website, fill out your information. They'll just give you one quote. That's all they'll give you. Zander, they shop multiple companies to get you the best rate possible. So you want 10 to 12 times your annual income. So go to Zander.com, get a quote today. I promise it's gonna be the best money that you spend throughout the month because you're taking care of your family, that if something happens to you, that they are taken care of. So if you have someone that is dependent upon your income, you need term life insurance and get it through Zander. And add that in the budget. So the budget is the thing, you guys, that is gonna bring you so far through all of this. this because it's going to be able to tell you, hey, do we need to pull back on some expenses? Hey, do we need to get an extra job? Hey, do we need to sell something? Like, what do we need to do to bring in some extra money to get those four walls, your food, shelter, utilities, transportation, covered? Those are so key. And that's the budget. And if you've never done a budget before, give yourself at least 90 days to let it work. 3 months. Give yourself 3 months. And that budget, it really does. It gives you this idea of control, and not just the idea of control, but you are actually controlling your money. So whether you're a spender or a saver, you need a budget during this time. And it's interesting, there's this study that I usually quote sometimes when I'm out speaking, and it talks about how the finish line always moves for people financially. So if you talk to someone that makes $50,000 a year and you're like, hey, are you rich? They're like, no, I'm not rich. And the researcher asks, okay, how much do you have to make to be rich? And they would say $100,000. They'd go to someone making $100,000. Hey, how much do you need to make to be rich? $250,000. So they go to someone making $250,000. They would say $500,000. They would say $1 million. They'd say $2 million, $5 million. It kept going up. And it's like, yeah, no amount of income, or you could even insert there, no amount of stuff is going to make you happy. No amount of stuff is going to make you feel like, oh, I arrived, or a certain income is going to make you feel like, oh yeah, I'm good, I'm satisfied, because you're wanting more, and that finish line always moves. So that's always a picture I paint at my events. It's a story I usually tell. But as I was planning out, thinking about this and the what now, like what do we do now with our money, I thought it's interesting because the starting line has started to move. The starting line, people are saying, oh, I'll do a budget, I'll get my money under control when all this is over, when all COVID-19 is taken care of, or I'll do a budget when my husband and I feel like we have enough money to actually do some stuff, or we'll do a budget once the kids start school. We'll do a budget X, Y, Z, and the excuses are galore. So don't let the starting line of starting your financial journey keep moving. Do it now. Do it today. If you're married, get your spouse on board. If you're single, find a friend you can talk to, but start your budget now. That's what you need to do right now, and say, never again I'm gonna feel out of control with my money. Never again, if a pandemic, a natural disaster, something crazy happens to us, never again am I gonna feel out of control. And the budget is the way to do that. So do the budget, you guys. I promise it's gonna help you so, so much during your financial journey.